guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me reading the top 5 BookTok books that I see on BookTok all the time. When you look up the hashtag BookTok, these are the books that I notice come up most frequently under the hashtag. There may be some others that I didn't include in this video because I might include in different videos or ones that I've already read. But for this video, I am going to be reading Fourth Wing by Yarros, Verity by Colleen Hoover, Normal People by Roony, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, and lastly, but certainly not least, we have The Inheritance Games by Lynn. I had so much fun creating this video. I had so much fun reading all these books. You will see that there was a lot of interesting things that happened in this video. Some books I loved, some books I hated. If you are interested to see what I thought about them and how I rank them from number 1 to number 5, which one I enjoyed the most to which one I enjoyed the least, then please just keep on watching. I had so much fun creating this video and getting footage for it, and I have read some unhinged books because of this challenge. So if you would like to see any more challenges, then let me know. And if you would like me to read any other books for a different video challenge, then let me know. And if you have any book talk videos that you think that I didn't read in this video that you would like to see me read and react to in a different video, then let me know. I can always do a part 2, and I would love to do a part 2. Also, let me know if you've read any of these books and if your opinion's different than mine. So without any further rambling, let's just get started with this video. Book that I'm starting with for this challenge is Fourth Wing. I started it this morning and I am now at page 239 out of, I don't even know how many pages, 498, so almost halfway through. I'm probably gonna read maybe another 2-3 chapters today. I'm really enjoying it. The story is so fun. I have never, I don't think, ever read anything about going to military school for dragons. That is the coolest thing. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about this girl who wants to be a scribe, but her mother sends her to this military school where they train on dragons. And it's a dragon school, a dragon military school. Her siblings were both like high, top tier in the military, and her mother was a general, is a general, and her father was a scribe, and she wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. She wants to be a scribe, but her mother tells her that she has to go to this school and become a dragon rider and to fight in the military. This book is gorgeous. Look at the sprayed edges. Are you kidding me? Stop right now. The coolest thing I ever seen. I cannot find a copy of this anywhere right now. Got this from my library and I had to wait for like 4 weeks, no, for like maybe 2 months before I got it, because there was like 400 people waiting on it. And when I got it, I was so excited that I decided to, like, this would be the first out of the pile of books that I want to read for this challenge. And I see why everybody talks about this. I will say I do have a few things that I don't like. We don't know that he's the love interest, but he is, and it's very early, like you can tell the vibes. And I didn't like it because I kind of wanted it to be slow burn. The way that it is, it's kind of like insta lust with the girl, at least, like with the main character. She sees him, and though they're meant to be enemies because he wants to kill her, she is like, oh my god, I've never seen a more handsome man in my entire life. And I'm like, get a grip. Like, you know he's here to kill you. He doesn't like you. He wants to kill you. The way it's written is very insta-lovey and or insta-lusty from her point of view, because from the guy's point of view, some of the writing is cringy, because when she tries to say that one of the people is 6'4", she says he must be 4 inches over 6 foot. Like, why don't you just say he's 6'4"? It's there for a reason. I think I will probably finish this tomorrow, which I didn't see this coming because I just came off of reading Throne of Glass, and I did not think that I want to be in another fantasy universe, but this universe is very easy to understand and very easy to follow along with. The story progresses really quickly, which is really nice, because you're not like reading descriptive writing for like 30-80 pages, you know, which would get boring and then I would start skimming. But it's nothing like that. It's very easy to read, very easy to follow with the plot. The dragons are so cute. I love the dragons. I love them. I love them. I've never read a book about talking dragons, and I need more. I'm gonna say it now. I need more because they're so cute and I love them so much, and they make me laugh, especially like one of them. He's so sassy and it's so funny. I love it. She does have this friendship with this guy that I do not like at all. This reminds me a bit of Divergent, where they basically like get sorted into these things, and basically factions, and you can be a scribe or you can be a dragon rider. I don't know if there's anything else that you can be, but I'm sure there are. I just didn't, you know, it didn't click. But it's giving very Divergent 2014, 2015 dystopian type of novel, except this is fantasy. But I get the vibes of like Divergent, which is really nice because I haven't read a book like Divergent in a very long time. I feel like the dystopian era is done. So it was really nice to be back in that headspace to where, like, you know, it's a young girl and she's trying to make it through these tests and trials, and they're ranked, and they have to do like physical fighting, and they have to do like all these things, and in the end they might not get chosen to be one, and they might have to repeat the year. You know, she has people hating on her already because of who she is, which is giving just very Divergent blueprint, which I don't mind. Don't get me wrong, I do not mind. I think that's why this is reading so quickly for me, because I will not be sorry to say this. Divergent is one of my favorite books ever. Favorite, I wouldn't say series because of the last book, but I remember reading Divergent and eating it up in one day, in one sitting. I sat down and I read that entire thing, and this is giving me the same, to where I feel like if I really wanted to, I could sit and read this in one day. I'm choosing not to because I want to savor it. I'm very much enjoying it. I love the dragons. I love the main character. I love the friendship that she has with the other people. And I'm sure there's going to be a plot twist in the end where, like, oh, the world is ending and, you know, she has to save it, because that's what it's giving. But maybe I'll be surprised. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I read these 40 pages in like maybe 2 hours. It flew by. I'll save the recommendation if I would or not until the end, because I feel like if I recommend it now and then I don't like the last 250 pages, maybe I won't. I have my sunset light on yellow because I officially have finished Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I kind of flew through the last 250 pages. This is very Divergent. This is very Divergent-esque because of the feelings that it gives me. It's very, very fun to read, very easy read. I definitely see why everybody is flying through this, and I'm low-key thinking about buying the second book in this, and like, I don't know if it's a duology or a trilogy or a series, I'm not sure, but I do know that the second book just recently came out, and I saw it at Target when I was there like 2 days ago, so I might be going to pick it up, which wouldn't make sense because I don't even have a copy of Fourth Wing, but I think I might want one. I hate the way that it was so insta-lusty from her side, and there's a trope in there that I really love that happened. I love me a trope like that. It kills me towards the end of the book. I like them together. I just wish it had been different, and I wish it hadn't been as fast as it happened, because it seemed like she met him and then they were in love like 20 pages later, which it wasn't like that, but it felt like that. There was so many things that could have been bettered, but I do really like it. I've never read anything by this author before, and I found it interesting that everybody and their mother was talking about this. It felt like it came out of nowhere, but now I'm so glad that I understand the hype around this book. I get it. It's really fun. The spice, bro. No one warned me that the spice scene would be so spicy. I really enjoyed it. The little plot twist in the end, I did not see coming, but I see why she did it. It's very like I said, this book feels very dystopian, 2014, 2015 booktube era, and not in a bad way. The dragons are the best part. They're so cute. I love them. I want one so bad. And I really want to read more books like this. So if you have any recommendations, let me know, because I don't think I've ever read anything like about dragons or a military school or a dragon military school. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. The next book in this little experimentation video is The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I believe I'm right. She's the author of the Natural series, which I have read years and years and years ago, and I really enjoyed her writing. The style of it and how quickly the story unfolds and how it keeps you strapped in the entire time. This book is, I believe, 372 pages, and I'll probably finish it before the year is over. Today is the 28th of December, so this will probably be my last book of the year. It says she came from nothing, they have everything, let the games begin. I have no idea what this book is about, to be honest. I knew when it came to Fourth Wing that it was about dragons and a military school because I've heard plenty of people talk about it when I was debating if I should read it or not, but I have no idea what this book is about. But I see it on everybody's like favorite fantasy reads on TikTok. Everybody talks about it. Everybody talks about this series, even on BookTube. I've heard some BookTubers talk about it. I'm very excited to read it and see what it's about. I'm guessing there's some sort of game in there, some games. She has to win something. Tomorrow I'll start The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. We'll talk about it and I'll let you know. Maybe I'll just finish it tomorrow night, to be honest. Because if I really like it, there's nothing really stopping me from finishing it in one day. No, I'm not gonna. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. If it's really that good, then I'll probably finish it tomorrow night or something. I don't know. We'll see. Talk to you tomorrow when I start The Inheritance Games. Say anything about me using an Instagram filter. I want to hear it. I have finished, what is it called? The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And me having to look back at this multiple times should tell you how I feel about this book. I did indeed finish it in one day. I read like 20 pages the same night that I made the video about Fourth Wing. I read like 20 pages and then I finished it the next day. I started it December 28th at night and then I finished it December 29th. If you don't know what this book is about, to be honest, I didn't either when I went into it. I went into it not knowing a singular thing about this book. It says she came from nothing, they have everything, let the games begin. What I didn't know in the beginning is that this is a mystery book. And if my smartass would have looked at the very clear mystery right here, I would have known. But I did not know that, and I did not read it, and I did not know anything about it other than the fact that everybody loves it, and everybody talks about it on TikTok, and so I was like, okay, I'll read it. It's a fantasy book. Why not? Basically, it's a billionaire romance. Not really. There's like these 4 boys and this girl and her sister, and she's broke, she's poor, she has nothing, and then she gets approached by this guy who says that she's been written in a will of this rich, very, very rich guy, very influential guy, or old man, I guess, and it's his grandpa, and that she needs to be there for the reading of the will. So, you know, they fly her out first class, and she's like this poor girl with her sister, and she doesn't have any family, and, you know, like, she lives in her car because her sister's boyfriend is abusive, and she wants him out of the apartment. She's like, if he's here, I will be here. So she moves out, and she lives in her car. So they don't reach her for like 3 weeks, and then when they do, she goes with them to Texas to read the will, and it turns out that the guy had left her everything. The grandpa, the old grandpa, basically left her billions and billions and billions of dollars. And everybody's like, why does this random girl, we don't know, she's not at all related to them, she's not at all involved in the family, nobody knows her, and everybody's like, why is she involved in the will and why does she get everything? Like, we should get them. We're the grandsons. There's like 4 grandsons and their parents, and they barely got like $1 million each, and so they're pissed, and they spend this entire book trying to find out why the old man had left her the inheritance, basically. And that's why it's called The Inheritance Games, because they need to find out why she got all the money. Who is she? Where does she come from? What does she mean to this family? It's a romance, but there's like, I didn't feel really any chemistry between like the guy that she likes and her. Meh. I gave it like a 3.5, 3.75 stars personally. I would not read it again. I don't think I'm gonna continue on with this series. It's okay. It's very easy to read. I obviously flew through it in one day. It's 373 pages, 372 pages, and I finished it in one sitting. There is like a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end, but personally, I've never been a fan of mystery books. Honestly, when I was reading this, the whole entire time, I was thinking about Fourth Wing, and I'm wondering if that's the reason why this was so lackluster for me, is because just before this, I had read Fourth Wing, and I really, really loved Fourth Wing, to the point where I almost gave it 5 stars. So this feels like a very big dip in the ratings. It's okay. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I gave it a chance. 3.75 stars, 3.5 stars to The Inheritance Games. Now, I know you're all wondering, what book am I going to read next? The next book we have is Normal People
by Sally Rooney. If you have been anywhere on BookTok, Book YouTube, or BookTube, I guess, anywhere, you would know that this book is everywhere. Everybody loves this book so much. I've never read anything by Sally Rooney, but I know she authored Conversations with Friends, and everybody loves her. Either really, really loves her writing and her books, or really, really hates them. Personally, I've never read anything by Sally Rooney. This hasn't been on my to-read list until I found it all over TikTok and everybody was reading it on BookTube and BookTok, and it's very little. I think it's not even 300 pages from what I remember. Yeah, it's 272 pages, which I also read or heard that this has nothing that happens in it. A purely character-driven book. It's probably going to be a story about people, which I like, but coming off of like Throne of Glass and Fourth Wing, I don't know, it kind of seems a little questionable. But anyways, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna start this probably in the new year. Today is December 30th. So I don't see myself really reading for the next 2 days because I'm gonna be, enjoying the new year. Maybe I'll read like 50 pages. I don't see myself picking this up until maybe January 1st or January 2nd, whenever I go back to work. But I'm excited about this. I'll let you know how this goes. I'll let you know how I like it. Hopefully I like it better than the Inheritance games, and I don't find it, and I'm not one of those people, who hates her writing. Really don't want to be disappointed after being disappointed in the Inheritance games, which I understand is on me. It's my fault, because I didn't read that it was a mystery book. I don't even know what type of book this is. I think it's a contemporary. I don't know what this is about, who it's about. A wondrous and wise coming-of-age love story from the celebrated author of Conversations with Friends. I haven't read that, so I don't know what this writing is like. I haven't really been out of the fantasy mindset. Well, I'll start it. I'll let you know how I feel about it. Hopefully I like it better than the Inheritance games. Let's get into it. Normal People by Sally Rooney, and you will be happy to know that I DNF'd it. I sure did. Yes, ma'am. Within the first 50 pages, too. Because riddle me this. Why is there no quotation marks around the dialogue? What am I supposed to do with that? It's just confusing. I don't like that style of writing, and to be honest, that's the only reason that I DNF'd this, is because I don't like the style of writing, and I am not interested in being confused. Mind you, it's a very short book, so if I wanted to, I really could push through. I just don't want to. I don't find myself interested in the story. I don't like the style of writing. I don't like the no quotation marks around the dialogue, and the story seemed a little boring. I mean, I read 50 pages, so I think I gave it a fair chance. I could have pushed through for another 200 pages. I chose not to. Not a fan. Do all her books not have dialogue, like with quotation marks? Is that a thing? Is this her thing? Like, is she known for this? Because I've never heard anybody mention this. Maybe I just didn't watch enough people talking about her books, but there's no quotation marks. DNF'd. My very first DNF of the year, too, mind you, because I started it January 2nd, and I said, this is not for me. This is not for me. No story is interesting enough for me to push through the no quotation marks and the type of writing that this has. So this is a disappointment. This is my very first DNF of the year. Mind you, I don't DNF a lot of books. Now, this girl right here, what? So this is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I started this today. I'll explain why I didn't talk about it. So yesterday was January 2nd. It's the day that I DNF'd Normal People. Today is January 3rd. The day that I started Verity. I read 200 pages within a blink of an eye, and then I was gonna stop and do an update, but I was so disturbed by what I was reading that I couldn't stop because the story was simply too disturbing. I needed to know how much more unhinged it was gonna get, so I finished it in one sitting. And I feel like that, that on its own says a lot because it's Colleen Hoover. This girl is a romance girly. She does not write horror. If you don't know what this book is about, this is about an author who, mind you, the very first page, the opening,
line to this book was horrendous. I should have known from the very get-go that this book was going to be messy. That's the best way I can describe it. It's messy. The characters are messy. The plot is messy. And not the goat messy. I mean messy. Girl, what did I read? Like, so deeply disturbed that I'm genuinely worried for Colleen Hoover's well-being. Like, is somebody checking on her? Is she getting a mental eval after this? Because where did she trudge this from? Like, what corner of her mind is that dark and twisted? What the hell is going on? Literally, I finished it in one sitting. I think I read it was really easy to read. That's the flipping problem. It was so easy to read. I kept going. I read 200 pages in a blink of an eye. I didn't even know I was 200 pages in. And I looked and I was like, how many pages is this book? And it was 325 pages with like 5 pages of freaking acknowledgements. Which what? Like, what? Do we need to thank that many people? First of all. Second of all, what did I read, bro? What did I read? This story was messy from the very beginning to the very end. Like, it just got more and more unhinged. The character got more and more unhinged. The plot got more and more unhinged. I am gonna have nightmares about this book, bro. And the spice scenes. Oh, there are so many of them. There were so many of them. I do not need to read about people doing the dirty for that long, bestie. Like, we do not need all that detail. We do not. I promise you, no one. There's a scene that is gonna be imprinted into my brain forever. I will say, very easy to read. I don't really read horror or thriller. I have bad experiences with that type of genre. I just steer away from it. I like fantasy. I like a little romance. I like a little classic here and there. You will not catch me reading thriller, but every time that I do, I'm so deeply disturbed by it that I'm like, I need to stay away from this genre for like the rest of my life, or at least for another 3 years. I cannot be reading anything like this until I recover. And I need trashy romance to recover from this, because what the hell did I read? Like 325 pages of pure unhinged behavior from every single character in this book. Not a single character in this book had a brain cell. Not one. Somebody needs to like actually check Colleen Hoover into like an asylum, because what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, it cannot be normal, you know? Like, something is wrong up there in the noggin. Something is wrong. I'm deeply disturbed. I'm gonna be thinking about this book for a hot minute, not through any choice of my own. It's just burned in here. And I don't know if it's just because I finished it today. I'm telling you, I finished it in one sitting. I think it took me like 3 hours. I did not stop. And when I did try to stop at 200 pages, I was like, well, I need to know, where could this possibly go? Where could this story possibly progress to? I wish I hadn't found out. If you've watched the movie A Simple Favor, this is like a mix of A Simple Favor with Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick and Gone Girl. Because what are we doing? What are we doing? What is happening? Everybody is like, I will say the ending, what was that? It was kind of smart, but like at the same time it was a cop. We cannot allow Colleen Hoover to get away with this. I promise you, we cannot allow her to get away with this, because what did somebody like ethically check this book and be like, maybe we shouldn't publish this for people's eyes to read? Because what is happening?
My phone just ran out of storage, so I have to film on Snapchat. Anyways, that's why I have a filter. Anyways, it's disturbed, deeply disturbed. I recommend if that's the type of genre you like, but otherwise, stay away from it. I don't recommend it. I don't like it. I wish it wasn't the first book that I read this year. I have deep regrets about that, to be honest. Like, going from Fourth Wing to reading Normal People and then to reading Verity is a very steep jump that I wish I hadn't done. I wish I would have just stayed in the fantasy department. Somebody check on Colleen Hoover. Genuinely, somebody needs to make sure she's okay. Revoke her writing rights for a little bit. Like, take her on like a meditation, like, getaway. You know, let her have some time to reflect on what she's done. On to the next book, and the last book that I will have in this reading challenge of reading TikTok books that are popular is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I love this cover. I love this, is it a trilogy or a duology? I'm not sure. I believe it's a trilogy, if I'm correct. What I do know is that people absolutely worship and love Lucy Score and her writing, and I've always been intrigued by the covers and the colors of these books. I think this one is, obviously, this one is blue, the second one is pink, I believe there's a third one. I could be wrong though, I'm not sure. Anyways, I don't know what this book is about. I have no idea. Stranded Runaway Bride. Something about a stranded runaway bride. I don't know. This will probably be my second read of the year. I'm gonna start it tomorrow, which is January 4th. I don't know what this is about. I have no idea what even I don't want to know what it's about. I'm just going to jump into it on because I usually don't even read the synopsis. I just see it a lot on TikTok, and I see it a lot on BookTube, and I see it a lot in Target. They usually sell them together, this and the Pink Book. So yeah, I've never read anything by Lucy Score, but I heard her writing is really, really nice. I do know that she has a lot of writings out there, and I think she wrote a Christmas book that everybody was reading. I think it's called The Christmas Fix. It has like a red cover. I hope I like this. Don't know how many pages this is. It looks heavy. Hefty. 554. So it'll probably take me a couple of days to finish this. But I'm very excited, and I will let you know how it goes, and I will update you when I start this tomorrow. I just realized that I cut myself off while I was talking about Verity and what the book is about because I got heated. If you don't know what Verity is about by Colleen Hoover, it's about an author who gets this deal to write or like co-write, continue on the series of another author that got in a car accident. And her husband approaches the author telling her, hey, my wife loved your book. Can you finish the series for her? Because she can't. She's basically like can't write anymore because of her accident. So she agrees, and then shit goes down from there. But actually, shit actually goes down from the very first page. But I went into that from the very beginning. This book is messy. If you love a good messy book that might leave you disturbed by the unhingedness of every single character and the lack of brain cells between adults, then continue, go on, read it. But I personally recommend Colleen Hoover to stay to the romance. I say that with, like no conviction, like stick to what you know. Stop writing thrillers. I have started and read quite a bit of Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I am 313 pages in. I am on chapter 30. And can I just say, first of all, I did not know that this book was about to be about older people, which is not a problem, but I wish I had known ahead of time so I wouldn't be so caught off guard by the main male character being 43 years old, because he's 43 years old, guys. I don't think I've ever read a book about someone that old, like that age. I'm not saying that it's like disgusting or anything, but he's 43. If you don't know what this book is about, fret not, because I did not know either. It's about this girl who ditches her wedding day, basically, leaves her man at the altar, and goes to save her sister, who calls her saying that she has trouble and she needs immediate help and money. And she drives all the way from the state that she lives in to the state where her sister is, which I don't remember what it is, but it's like a small city, small town, very small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows each other's business type of situation. And she goes to help her. Instead, a lot of shit goes down. That's basically what it's about. The book is interesting. It's very funny, very funny. I did not know Lucy Score's writing was funny, but it actually made me laugh out loud. I don't think I've ever read a book by Lucy Score before. This is my very first experience with her writing, and I read this much in one sitting. 300 pages in one sitting, bro. This could have been a whole book. Genuinely, I think if I allowed myself to continue, I would have finished this today in one sitting. I'm finding it very interesting. It's very funny. I did not think that I would like the romance between the two main characters, but I'm really liking it. But she called his his thing, a weapon of mass destruction. Which what? There are a simple, terminology would have sufficed. We don't need to go and write about somebody's pee-pee being a weapon of mass destruction, girl. I think that might have been the cringiest line I've ever read. That's gonna take it down at least a star, if not a star and a half. Because what do you mean he stuck his weapon of mass destruction inside of me? Girl, what are we talking about? I like their chemistry. They have a lot of chemistry. It's an enemies to lovers, small town. Everybody knows everybody's business. Genuinely, I'm really enjoying it. I'm afraid that there's gonna be some third act breakup happening. I can see it coming, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm kind of eating it up that he's a little bit older because I love me older men. I knew I would eat it up because the tagline for this is he's absolutely not falling for the good girl. And I ate that up. I ate it up within just that one line. You don't need to say anymore. I'm already there. I'm sat
front row seat, popcorn in my hand. 90% chance I'll probably finish this tomorrow because there's only, I have like 200 pages left, 250 pages. That'll be nothing. I'll finish this maybe in like 3 hours. I have officially finished Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I finished the last 250 pages of it today at work, and I gotta say, I gave it 3.75 stars. I enjoyed it very much. It was very easy to get through. There was a third act breakup situation that happened. It was really stupid, to be honest. I really didn't enjoy that part of the book because it felt forced. It felt like we couldn't find anything else to be upset about at each other, at least like the characters, because everything was going so well, and then out of nowhere they just drop. It really just didn't make any sense why they had to go through the third act breakup, because it didn't feel genuine or necessary, or like anything had happened to require a fourth act breakup or a third act breakup. It just felt kind of like something to help the plot move along. But I will say I enjoyed it, and also the fact that she called his a weapon of mass destruction, that kind of took down like a half star or a full star at that point. It was very easy to get through, very easy to read. 500 pages felt like nothing. I read it in 2 sittings.
Once again, my phone ran out of storage, so I have to go back into Snapchat. I will be continuing on with this world because I did some research and I found out that the next 2 books, the same area I believe, but with different characters that we meet in this book, so I'm excited to see that. Plus I really like Knox as a love interest. He just gets me. The older sibling in me really resonates with how well he takes care of everyone around him. And yeah, I really like him. I don't like his name, but he is it. He is the I'm actually gonna miss reading about him because he gets me. He makes me mush, bro. It didn't feel like it was, lagging or anything at any point. I just really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the story. And yeah, I gave it 3.75 stars. Lucy Score's writing is just really easy to read, and the plot is fun. Not everything has to be like a very super serious, super intelligent conversation. Things can just be fun, and I think this was fun and easy to read. This was my second read of the year. Today is January 5th. I started this January 4th. And yeah, like I said, I read it in 2 sittings. It was really easy to get through, and I enjoyed it. They may not be the most, beautiful work of literature, but I enjoyed it, and that's how I'm gonna judge it, and we're gonna leave that at that. Now that this challenge is over, let's recap with all the books that I read for this video, the 5 books that I read. I first read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I gave this 5 stars, I believe, or 4 stars, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But I really enjoyed it. Very Divergent-esque, if you're missing a book like Divergent, with like training scenes and a broody enemies to lovers type situation with dragons. I really enjoyed this. I definitely recommend it. I will definitely be buying my own copy because this is from the library. And look at the freaking pages, bro. Then I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I believe I gave this maybe 3.75 stars. It's like a billionaire romance, not really mystery type book. I am not the biggest fan of mystery, so I don't really enjoy it. It's about this girl who gets this inheritance, and nobody knows why, because she wasn't related to this old man that passed away and gave her all his money. And they spend this entire book trying to find out why she's important to this man and why they gave her the inheritance. And I didn't really enjoy it that much. It was really easy to read. I believe I read it in 1 sitting, if not 1, then 2. And I will not be continuing on with this series, even though it was really easy to read. I'm just not interested to know where the rest of the story goes. Then I attempted to read Normal People by Sally Rooney, and I DNF'd that bitch real quick. If you think I should give it a second chance, let me know. I don't see myself doing that though, because I feel like I'm on the boat of people who just don't like Sally Rooney's type of writing. Verity by Colleen Hoover, the book that severely gave me mental damage. I read this in 1 sitting because I couldn't put it down, and I wanted to know what type of disturbance Colleen Hoover's brain was in when she wrote this book, because what are we talking about? Genuinely, this book was wrong in any way you look at it. Nobody had a singular brain cells to their name. And I cannot believe a bunch of adults could screw up this badly. I genuinely am still screwed up over this. I think I'm going to be thinking about this for a long time because of how messed up and deranged every character in this book is. Miss Colleen Hoover should just stick to romance, because girl, It's not the vibe. And then we have, last but not least, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I just talked about it, so you already know my feelings about it. 3.75 stars, very easy to read. 500 pages don't even feel like it. And I love the shape of these books, and I love the covers. The covers are so aesthetic together. The spice was crazy. The romance was crazy. Very enemies to lovers. If you love a good, enemies to lovers, girl loves to fix everybody, guy doesn't give a shit about anybody, and he's a grump type situation. That's for you, Grumpy Sunshine, enemies to lovers. I loved it. There you have it. That's it. These are all the books that I read for this challenge of reading the most popular books on BookTok that I see constantly. Fourth Wing, Inheritance Games, Normal People, Verity, and Things We Never Got Over. I thoroughly enjoyed this experiment. If you have any more books that you would like me to read, let me know. I'm doing a dark academia reads after this. I don't know how I'm going to get in a dark academia mindset after reading trashy romances and weird mysteries and thrillers, but I'm going to try. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your favorite BookTok book is. I will say I very much enjoyed discovering Fourth Wing, and let's rank them, why don't we? The first book, Fourth Wing. Who didn't see this coming, It feels wrong, but just because of the fact that I read this so quickly, I'm going to put Verity as number 2, and then I'm going to put Things We Never Got Over. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to put Things We Never Got Over second and Verity third, because I cannot with good conscience put that as the second book, And then The Inheritance Games, and then Sally Rooney, because I didn't read this book, is number 5. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again next week with another video where I will be losing my mind over different types of books. Goodbye.